Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast. Today I want to talk about a great example of how somebody has turned their expertise into a scalable IP business. And I want to share that with you today. So I was scrolling through Instagram, of course, and came upon a professor from Duke University who has a course called Learning to Fail. You may have heard of it because he's all over the place, but if not, go check it out. So the course itself is great. It's a course that all the students, I assume, in the business program need to take because it's teaching them how to do things that are out of their comfort zone so that when they get a job, when they're out in the world, they actually are able to learn some of those skills of taking chances, but also then learning how to work through them. So it's a great concept. I'm always intrigued by, sort of niche things like that, but also like I'm thinking, okay, well, I need that course. My kids need that course. Like, interesting. Like everyone should learn how to fail. That's a great concept. So I'm not sure how he came up with the concept, if it was something that he went to Duke and said, hey, this is what I want to teach, or if it's happened to him. But he has definitely embraced that expertise in terms of being able to teach students how to go through that process. So anyway, I was watching one this morning and he was talking about having his students go out and sell a Jolly Rancher for $100. And so it's such a great activity because, I'm going to put you in a position where you are most certainly going to fail because nobody really wants a Jolly Rancher for $100. But the lesson was, how do you use something like that to show connection and whatever else. So anyway, that's not what's important. What's important is when I was watching that, I was like, oh, it would be so cool to be in that class and learn some of those techniques, even for me at my age, or have my kids be in that class. And so it got me thinking in that moment, I wonder if he has some sort of program outside of the Duke class that he's teaching. And as myself, who really works with experts to help them package their expertise and get it out to the world in a bigger and broader way, he would have been a perfect candidate because he really could make such a bigger impact than just helping students at Duke, right? Like, so many students would be interested in that class. So many people outside of a university setting would be interested in that class. And so I went out and did a search, and lo and behold, he has a program. And what's fascinating about the program is, and you can go and check it out, his name is Dinin, D-I-N-I-N, Learning to Fail. What's fascinating is literally the first paragraph is like, hey, you may be interested in also learning this outside of Duke University. Here's how you can do that. And then he shares a story about how he sort of for years fought that I'm sure people have been asking, like, do you have an online course? Do you have a way to deliver this outside of Duke? And he didn't, and he fought doing it for a long time and then finally made it available. So he does have an online course or program that he sells, which is great because I'm like, awesome. Like, I am super interested in that and I want to take that. And it is such a great example of being an expert, being visible and out there talking about your expertise, and then just a natural transition for somebody to be like, oh, I'm super interested in what he has to say and what he's teaching and the activities. I want to be a part of his world. And so that progression is as you start stepping into becoming a scalable expert versus an expert operator where you're kind of behind your desk doing all the things for your clients, is you make that shift to really being able to start to get your messaging out there in a bigger way, start to package what you're doing so that other people can see it, so you can make that bigger impact, right? Like, the amount of impact he could make in the world around this concept that he's teaching is enormous, right? Like, that is why people are seeking him out in different ways. So I don't know his backstory and how he went from being a professor at Duke to starting to talk about this online to building a sort of a back end business. So maybe he'll be on the podcast someday. I will keep you posted on that. If anyone has a connection to him and wants me to interview him, just, reach out to me, because I'd love to be able to hear more of his story. But the second thing I wanted to cover is how simple his funnel, his way of bringing customers in is. Now, he may have a complete back end to his business. He may do coaching and live events or a mastermind. Like, he may do deeper things behind what he is offering on his website. But what's fascinating is how clear and simple entry is into his world. And I think as experts, that's the other thing that we sort of struggle with, is how do we keep our message simple so people can hear it and people know what to do in order to be able to work with us, right? We tend to know our topic so well that we over educate, we over design what we want to do. Like, we could do it this way or 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 this other way. And so we put all of those out there, and it starts to confuse our audience immediately. So you step into his site and it gives you one option, which is the one online course for $197. And that brings you into his world so that you can start to experience his course that he has. Now, again, I assume that he's got some sort of back end. If not, he should call me and I will help him build that. But what I want to do as a customer is I want to take the first step, right? The first step is taking the class that mirrors or matches the Duke University course. And then from there, I may want to work with him more because I'm still struggling to learn how to fail. I'm still struggling to go through that process. But that comes after I have done his initial course. And if you check out his page, he talks about that he has a framework for how he teaches this in the university. He has a framework for how he leads with this out when he's doing online courses or whatever else he is doing. And so he's literally done exactly what should be happening when somebody goes from sort of expert operator, you're doing the work, you're doing the thing, all of your expertise is in your head, to moving into becoming a scalable expert, which means that you have a way for people to actually learn from you that doesn't require you to be physically present in front of them all of the time. 2, how do you start to then, deepen that customer experience with the person who comes in and learns your framework, who wants more, who wants to dig deeper into your topic, your expertise. So if you think about and go and look at how simple it is that he has sort of brought people into his world, that is where the simplicity of being able to package your expertise for your customer, for where they are in the customer journey, and not overloading them with a million different options for them to take. I wanted to share that example with you because it is a great example of becoming a scalable expert and what that starts to look like. We look at examples like Donald Miller, we look at Mike Michalowicz, we look at Brene Brown, we look at all of sort of these thought leaders and people who have a scalable expertise brand, right? They've created a scalable IP business. We look at them and we say, oh, well, they were able to do that because of X, Y, and Z. And they started exactly the same way that all experts start. They had an expertise, they were doing it for clients and customers. Then they looked at it and said, how do I package this and make a bigger impact in the world? And they started from there. That's the foundation. And instead of trying to do all of the things for everyone, which kind of keeps you only able to serve a small handful of people, it's looking at taking that and being able to really make that bigger impact. So think about it, like if Dr. Dinnan only was teaching at Duke University, no one else would even know how impactful his framework is for learning how to fail and embracing failure, or taking steps to learn how to actually do the things that will put you in a position to get to the next level, right? Only students at Duke University would know about him, and only students at Duke University would be able to benefit from his expertise that he has been able to acquire over the years. And And so when you look at it and you shift it and you say, oh, well, how great is it that he is able to make an impact with more students, with more people than the amount of people who could be admitted at Duke University. You start to think about, what does that look like for you? What does that look like when you're packaging your expertise? Who else may benefit from your expertise versus just the people that you can serve today? So I challenge you to start looking at examples like that out in the wild and start to think about, how do you package your expertise into something that allows you to get it out there in a bigger way so you can make a larger impact in the world. All right, there you go. That is my example for today. If you love this episode, please share it with other people. Give us a shout out, give us a rating. And when you are ready to start thinking about taking your expertise and moving it into packaging it and then moving it into a scalable IP business, give me a shout. We'd love to talk to you and see how we can work together to make that happen.